Now, it's been a while since I spoke about BLXN. So the last video I did on them is when I explained the mechanics of their first original Dapp, BLXN Limitless. And it has been more than, I think, 2 to 3 months right now, and it's still running. No matter what the Dapp is about, gamble, gamified, whatever the case might be, if the team is honest and is not siphoning funds, is showing everything and is still, showing transparency, even though as time passes, usually some teams get discouraged and they're like, okay, let's take the money and leave. But clearly it's not happening with BLXN. So they're still here after several months and they are very open and transparent about the high risk of their dApps. So they tell you straight up, this is super risky, but it's fun. Yeah, so it's always refreshing to see teams being so honest and so upfront about their product. Now, like I said, this one has been running for some time now, and right now we are in the third round of BLXN Limitless. So I'm gonna quickly go over a refresher on this tab because it has been a while, alright? So let's go over this real quick. So like I said, we are in the third round because this DApp operates in rounds. So each round, a random return on investment percentage is picked up by the smart contract between 1 and 8%. And that will remain for the validity of the round, alright? Now, every time you enter, every time you collect, every time you compound, there's gonna be a 5% tax. And that 5% tax is what keeps them going, meaning this tax is used to make promotions, to fund the future dApps, so on and so forth. And whenever you want to enter, you need to put in at least 50 BUSD. They also do have a referral reward system, very straightforward, 2% for every person who enters with your link, and rewards stop accumulating after 48 hours. Now, the cool thing about the user interface, which I'm going to show you really soon, is that it has a TVL tracker in the form of a chart, and then it keeps you engaged in regards to how things are going. If you don't want to go look at the smart contract every now and then, you can see it displayed in front of you, but of course, for validity purposes, to make sure that this is actually legit, go and check the smart contract, easily accessible on the website. Most of the scammy dApps unfortunately make it really complicated for you to access the smart contract for some reason, but I'm happy to say that it's very visible on the main user interface. Now, if you recall correctly, there's also a VIP round where VIP entrants have to pay 0.05 BNB and they get 1 day prior to all the public users. So if they do pay that premium, they can enter before everyone else. And like I said, this operates in rounds, but in order to start the second round, a portion of the current TVL is carried forward and it's 5%. So whenever the total TVL drops to 5% of its max, the round stops, it carries forward to the second one, and then you're gonna have the fourth round whenever the third one ends, alright? So, and there's also the fact that if you keep, adding up with VIP entries, so after 5 rounds of you being engaged as a VIP member, you become a VVIP where you don't have to pay anything, and then every round after that, you're automatically a VIP member. So that's essentially what this dApp does. Now let's go over some, stats of what they've been doing and talk a bit about the whole spirit of it. Now, before I move also a bit further, I want to make a quick refresher in regards to the audit report because they have been audited by Solid Proof, and ever since they made that audit, they actually fixed so many issues that they had, and that's pretty cool, honestly. Now, here it is. So, like I just said, so most of the issues have been fixed, but one still remains to this day. It's called weak randomness. Now, I'm not tech savvy when it comes to issues in contracts yet, but in my personal opinion, this relates to either the fact that ROI percentage is randomized, meaning it can be exploited, or rewards can also be randomized, meaning also they can be exploited in regards to users getting more than they should. Now, I think this will also be resolved like everything else has been, and it's labeled as a medium issue, meaning it's not as critical to the smart contract viability as you might think. All right, so that's pretty important to keep in mind. And the user interface is pretty straightforward. Right now, actually, they're running a small buy context, meaning up until the 15th of March, if you enter the Dapp, if you are any of the people between first and fourth place, you're gonna get some BUSD for whatever you enter. So maybe you can monitor this to see how big are the deposits, so perhaps you can, you know, take some of that prize money. And like I said, every round has a random ROI percentage. The current one is 4%, with the VIP members getting a small boost of extra 1%, because we also mentioned that, right? So that's the nice TVL tracker. Like, honestly, the user interface, it's pretty cool, pretty slick, pretty enjoyable. I gotta say that. Like, it's pretty smooth riding. And here it is. It shows you your stats with the current round, and if you have entered the previous one, and the all-time stats of yours if you've been a member of this since the get-go. So everything is displayed, all right? So everything is visible. You can see the current status, the runtime, how many users are in, etc., etc. So nothing too complicated, nothing too nothing that requires you to go, you know, above and beyond to fetch the information. It's all visible in front of you. And that brings me to the current status of the project. So like I said, right now they are in the third round, and they have operated so far with round 1 and round 2 successfully, I might say. And if you look at the previous rounds, so 1 and 2, the difference between the run times, even though the first round of course had the highest TVL, as you could imagine, when a new Dapp launches it would have the highest hype, it ran less than the second one, and that is very simple due to the fact that the second round had 1% a day versus 6% of the first round. So that gives it a longer runaway time. All right, that doesn't mean that this is not good. It means that, of course, the longer a round stays, not only it has to do with the supply and demand, it also has to do with the fact that you're earning less versus whatever you're earning previously. And of course, round 3 to this day has a smaller TVL, which is still expected. My personal opinion on all of this, and this is what I want to get at, is that it doesn't matter if the TVL is low right now. It doesn't matter that at some point, of course, it's not gonna keep going forever. Perhaps there will be around 4 and that's it. But the idea that there is such a team out there that can produce these decentralized applications, very high risky, very gamified, and, you know, very transparent, gives me hope that they're gonna keep doing stuff like this and potentially eventually do something a bit more serious. And, you know, or perhaps they can do a combination. They can still do this and produce something that is a bit more serious. I hope they can get the funding, because I would surely get behind a team like this. Honestly, it doesn't matter. Like, if it's a Degen Dapp or it's a legit Dapp, a scam and a rug pull is a rug pull. You know, that's the end of it. That's the gist of it. If they tell you that this is high risk and they keep going, they keep producing, then it's fine. At least they told you that you're getting what you're getting into, and at the end of the day, it's your decision. And that's how it should be. That's how it should be for all of these gamified, decentralized application. So to conclude, yes, this is very high risk. Yes, please do not enter if you're not gonna be entering with the mentality of losing it all. That's true, but the honesty and transparency is something that should be valued as well. So I hope this team is still gonna be producing games, decentralized applications, and perhaps a more serious project. Let's see what happens. And I really hope you stuck around till the end. Thank you for doing so. See you on the next one. Have a good one.